You are listening to the Underground Voices Network. You will be hearing unfiltered truth from voices living the news. Dan, tell us what's going on today in Venezuela.
Well, what's going on is levels of. I'm actually writing down my newsletter right now. I'm flipping around, and that's me working on my newsletter right now. The level of desperation is beyond comprehension. I was on my way. I just sent you that little video clip. I was on my way here actually, and a family, just about 6 people, flagged me down and said, "Hey, can you give us a ride to the local?"
Oh, you
They
didn't
call it
even
river
know,
now.
You didn't even know them?
No, I didn't know them. They just flagged me down, and I recognized there was no grown men or nobody that looked threatening at all. So I just pulled my truck over. I got a pickup, so I pulled over and I said, "Hey, where you guys going?" They said, "We're going to the river to bathe," and they had little jars they're going to fill up for drinking water. Are you getting this? To drink and to bathe in.
Wow.
And
that's that same creek you showed me the other day that has sewage in it?
It's the only one I go through every day, and it's still dirty water. There's they've actually tried cleaning it up a little bit. They've put rocks and stuff, but it's so sad. I was heartbroken to say the least, because here I am. Sorry, let me put this over here a minute. Here I am on my way over to write a newsletter, and as I'm going there, they're asking me for a ride to drop them off at what they call the river. And I said, sure. So as I dropped them off, I said, "Do you guys know what that water is?" And there's a lady there. She was apparently the mom or grandma. Probably was watered up just like that instantly.
Wow.
She said, yes, we know.
Ugh.
I said, "How are you guys doing this?" She says, "Well, we boil the heck out of it." And she used another word. I was like, okay. So I actually asked for their number. I said, would you give me your number, and maybe this week we'll try to go by and deliver some clean water to your home? Oh, wow. Man, she pretty much lunged half of her body into my truck. I was like, oh, just wanting to hug me and thank me. The little kids jumped into the truck. So, because I rolled all the windows down, I was like, hey, trying to get somebody's attention to find out who they were, what they were doing, whatnot. So I, with a broken heart, man, I dropped them off and let them. Matter of fact, I pulled up a little bit and kind of hid behind some palm trees for a sec. I got out of the truck. I had my phone in my truck, so I didn't think. Honestly, I don't walk around always thinking about a picture, and I'm sorry about that. I should have thought about it. But I looked at them just.
Okay.
Dude, it was like when your kids go to the pool or beach and they've got the inflatables in one arm and they're just running like psyched and jumping in. That's exactly what I saw happen. I mean, in a different world, it would have been a beautiful scene. Local kids going to the local river. How cool. But no, the smell alone, I don't understand how they can bear it.
Wow.
And one of our church's psychologists has actually been doing free work. She just said, "Pastor, you're swamped." And I've had probably 30 to 40 people I meet with every week right now. People on the brink of desperation, suicide. The majority of these folks aren't Christian at all. She said, "Pastor, can I help you?" I said, yes. So we've got a big group of staff right now from the church just working hard to help people. And what the psychologist, her name is Amanda. I said, Amanda, I need your help. I need your help because people can't sleep. People are forgetting what day of the week it is. They're not aware of what time it is.
Dan, just in case somebody's seeing this for the first time, give us a little brief thing. Like, so your power's been off, right, for a while? Or?
Yes, we've had nationwide power outages for weeks upon. The longest we were without electricity was 11 days straight in a row.
Wow.
Nonstop, day and night.
And is it summertime there right now? Is it hot?
Well, honestly, Jimmy, it's summertime all year long here.
Okay.
It's hot all year long. Now, around, I'd say November, December, it cools down a bit. And starting May, which is next month, rain season comes in. being a tropical country, there's not four stations during the year. It's more like hot summer, cooler summer, wet summer.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
So there's any electricity. And here's the funny thing. We don't have any government official saying what's the cause of the lack of electricity. All we've got is social media. I'm talking Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and whatever little media outlet can get in here or there. And so right now we're not seeing what channel we're watching. It's who are you following that's giving the most accurate news. And this power outage has been going now for about 2 months straight. We've actually got a state here. It's called Zulia. And they have been without power for over a month.
Wow.
The whole entire state has had no electricity for a month. Matter of fact, Juan Guaido, which is the new chosen president because of the Constitution, he was taken from Congress, put into the presidential place. He actually went to Zulia just a few days ago, and there was millions of people flocking the streets. And all they said was it would have taken half of that to go to the Capitol, stand and surround the Capitol building or the White House type, whatever. I think it's called the Yellow House here. I guess it fits the name right now. Right. Unfortunately, they're cowards that are sitting behind a big office, not giving face. They're not showing front to people and saying, "Hey, folks, we're sorry. We had a mistake. We miscalculated." And even the people have said, if somebody would come up and apologize, we'd be willing to believe in them, but they haven't. Here's what they're saying, Jimmy, and to anybody watching, this is what they're saying. They're saying the U.S. is attacking us. Adios. Bless. Sorry, I'm in a shop right now. This guy owns a printing business. Here's the owner, Mr. Ivan.
Hi.
He has graciously donated his office for me to use as a little mini headquarters temporarily to send out newsletters, reports,
wow.
And just got off talking with my pastor, some family members, whole bunch of ways. It's pretty much the only way I can communicate. Everything else I can do through texts, but it's hard. Since there's no electricity, obviously there's no water because the electricity does the water pumps. There's no electricity, no water. So with no electricity, the banking system is crashed. Internet is crashed. Phones don't work. Texting barely works. There's about 3-4 places in the whole city. I'm talking a city of over 2 million people. So it's a big city. Imagine, I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee. So, I mean, I can't imagine living in Chattanooga and saying, you know what, at the North Gate, at Hamilton Place, they've got that's a mall in my hometown. And I can't fathom the concept of saying, yeah, there's 2-3 spots where you can maybe get a little bit of internet. And that's actually where I drive to, Jimmy, sometimes to send you pictures.
Wow.
That's the only way I can get something to you. And I know it's important for you to have it, for you to get this out to people. But all this is happening, so people don't have power, they don't have water. Since you don't have power, meat stores and all these bakeries, their machines are down. Jimmy, let me put it to you. The devastating loss is in the billions now of bolivars, which would be in the millions of dollars. And in an economy this small compared to the U.S., that's monumental.
Right.
I mean, I've got Ivan. Ivan owns his shop. I mean, he's got computers here. He's got his printing business back in the back. And he's been about, out of every 24 hours, he'll have power for maybe at the most 4 hours. So he's got to run in, work, and do printing and copying and whatever for 4 hours, and then that's it. He sends everybody home. We've got a chocolate company. Chocolate is really good here in Venezuela. They got a chocolate company that has 2 of its main engines have burnt out over the last few days, over the last few months because of the power surges and all. Right. It's just blowing up. Even with protectors and all that, it's overwhelmed. The way the power goes out, Jimmy, is crazy. One thing is go where you hear the sound and right. You hear the energy level going down and you hear the lights fade out. No, this goes and then you'll have a major power surge and you'll see flashes through the cables and I mean, it looks like a movie. Like you're like, okay, where's the spaceship and where's it going to land? You're wow. Expecting to see something phenomenal hit from the skies, and so it's funny. Just the other day, outside from my house, in front of my house, there's a big bridge. Well, this big power surge hit, and it went on for about 3 minutes. Noises that sounded like a horror movie. We ran out, and I was about one of the two families that everybody else was at home. I was like, what's that noise? It's one of those power things. Jimmy, I'm seeing this, and it's scaring me. People are almost getting used to it. They're adapting to it. They're getting used to it. They're trying to survive.
That's the
You
resilience.
drive through neighborhoods.
That's the resilience of humankind, though. I mean, on some degree.
Well, it is the resilience, but it's also the political strategy of the regime here.
What else are they
trying to
telling you? What else are they telling you? You were telling me this earlier. That
Well,
what are they blaming these power outages on?
they're blaming the U.S. They've actually narrowed it down to 2 states. They said Texas, which I felt proud of. I was like, daggum, I'm so glad, because my mom's from Texas. But they're like, Texas and Chicago. I went to school in Indiana, and I worked in Chicago for 4 years. So I'm like, what is Chicago doing to Venezuela? And so they're saying laser beams, electromagnetic beams. They said a sniper, a U.S. sniper, and they put on live national TV the picture and a video clip of Bradley Cooper in the 2014 movie American Sniper.
You're kidding.
This was on live TV.
Wow.
And they're saying, we've got the evidence. They've got a 3D rendering of the aerial view of where they know the sniper was at, where he shot, and then they've got the pictures of the power plants ablaze and fire. And they're going, this is what the Americans have done. You know, and I'm sitting in my house going, should I go out? You know, I mean,
well, seriously, yeah.
And then I get calls and texts over the next 2-3 days saying, hey, Pastor, we love you. Ignore those idiots. They don't know what they're saying. And honestly, there's only about less than a 10% of the actual whole country that's listening, and maybe a 5% that's believing. But it's scary that they are living, it's almost like in Narnia. It's the government, the regime believes that everyone, the president is actually speaking on a green screen. He's not at his government house anymore. He's on a green screen, and nobody actually knows where he's at. He's moving places constantly. He's scared. He knows he's being hunted. And I've got friends back home. I've got nephews back home that are saying, hey, Uncle, hey, Dan, we're getting, and this is something, I don't know if you've heard of it, but these are folks, friends of mine, family of mine that are in the U.S. military, be it Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, you name it, just in the military in general. And in our armed forces that are saying, Dan, they're asking us to prepare because there's an operation that's going to happen in Venezuela. And this has been the last 2 weeks. Then all of a sudden I hear our vice president say, all right, we've had enough. I hear John Bolton say, all right, it's time to take action. Mike Pence already spoke. Marco Rubio stood up and said, all right, we've already spoke to the new president, and we know what's going to happen day one after Maduro has left. And there's like 4 or 5 big guys from our government that they're stating, hey, something's going to happen. Now, there's been a little bit of this expectation for a few years now, but this is the first time we're hearing people in high places talk about it. And honestly, Jimmy, it's got me between tears and excitement. I can't even express. I'm sitting here writing this letter, and I get so overwhelmed writing it. I'm like, okay, slow down, control your thoughts, and
right.
Get a pattern here, because if not, people are going to go, whoever's writing this is crazy, because I heard a lot about everything. So I'm just trying to keep my emotions down. Jimmy, we just started a youth group last Saturday. Close to 50, 60 teenagers from a local town area. And we're trying to keep people busy, occupied, focused. And you see some of these kids with red eyes, and you go, what happens? Well, we've got electricity at our house, so I turned my fan on, and I was resting for 3 hours. People aren't even sleeping in regular sleeping hours. You know, your body adapts to the nighttime, so it rests. Well, it's hard to rest. I'm thinking of Alaska and countries that live out in the poles that have a variety of sun time, daytime and nighttime, and that's kind of what's going on here. You really don't know, because your body knows when it's light and when it's dark, but you can't sleep in the dark. The only time you can sleep in is in the day. So much mosquitoes, the flies have, oh my goodness, they've multiplied. There's flies everywhere. You drive by meat shops and you just smell the rotten meat.
Oh my gosh.
And yet you see people in line. And when I see people, Jimmy, I'm talking in no exaggeration. I'm going to try to lower the amount. At least 1,000 people in line per store, trying to see if they can get any type of protein in their diet.
Man.
I've had people. We have several hundred in our church services, and we're actually about to start a second service because so many people are coming. And I've had people falling asleep that are leaders in our church, and I don't even mention. I don't say nothing to them.
Well, they finally they feel a little bit of peace and comfort sitting there, probably.
Well, it's the only place they do feel comfort. And you know what? Here's the good news, Jimmy. We've had a lot of people react to this news, to the media that's being thrown out. We were able to raise money for 4 generators. We got 1 generator for our camp, 1 for our church, 1 for my house, and 1 for my coworker's house. My brother Steven, him and his family. They're actually in the States right now, and they'll be back next month in May. So it's so exciting on one end, and then so concerning on the other end. You know, yesterday we handed out 30-something bags of corn flour and about 20 or 30-something bags of rice. And we're doing this every week. Whatever box comes in, it's just delivered that week. And it doesn't last a few days in our house.
So the cornstarch and the rice are the main 2 things. The corn flour, I mean, is that the main 2 things you guys are surviving on right now?
Corn flour is what people use here to make what they call the arepa. It's kind of like the national bread here for Venezuela and Colombia. It's a very famous around. Matter of fact, in the U.S., there's food trucks already selling the arepas, and they're loaded. It almost looks like a burger, but it's white, and when you taste it, it doesn't taste like a wheat bun. It just tastes like, you can definitely sense it's corn flour or something. It's not the cornbread you'd think of, that yellow cornbread that you have I know you're from Tennessee, so you know what I'm talking about.
Down
south. Yeah. So it's not that at all. It's white cornmeal. It's a white corn flour. And it's very popular, and everybody eats it every day, breakfast, lunch, supper. What I'm trying to get right now, my main desire is maybe aim for something that would be like cereal, powdered cereal. And by cereal, I don't mean like cornflakes. I mean like
cream of wheat or something like that.
Something like that, but you know what Similac is, or Ensure?
Yeah.
All right. Well, something like that, but in powder form, because Ensure I know is expensive, and that's expensive because it's a name brand and it's a dietary supplement. When in fact, what I need is vitamin supplement. I need meal supplemental drinks. That's kind of what I need. I need a drink that would actually supplement a meal. If they can't actually have a full meal, they could have. We just got World Health, which is a world-renowned organization that helps in many, many countries worldwide. World Health just sent us several boxes with rice that included soy proteins and dehydrated vegetables in it. So that alone was just helping incredibly. And I've had people say, Pastor, do you have more? I'm like, no, hang on. Good news is that the World Health is saying if the first boxes get through, then we'll send crates, and if the crates get through, we'll start sending containers. That's just the way they work. And we've taken pictures, sent them of every person that we've sent it to. We've documented it so well to let people know where it's being used, the names, the faces. You know, Jimmy, you know who we're giving food to? Doctors, engineers, lawyers, nurses, medical workers. These aren't street bums. These are professionals.
Right.
These are men and women that are used
everybody
to
everybody is equal when there's nothing.
Everybody is equal when there's nothing. You're right. I actually had to have a meeting a few weeks ago, and I broke down in tears, and I said, folks, we've given meals to other people, maybe that aren't from the church, and they've said, no, thank you, even though they've got nothing in their storage or pantry or refrigerator because they're not used to being poor.
Right.
And I broke down and I said, you know what? In the time of need, we need to understand need is something that's going to happen to every human being. I went and told, see, they see this American missionary, they go, oh, you probably don't understand what need is. Son, I was born American. That's not my, I'm not my fault. But there are moments in my life that I needed things. I didn't have,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
I had to work 3 jobs and it still wasn't covering half of what I needed to pay. And so when I start explaining, and I kind of switched the perspective over so they do understand it. And they've also seen our way of life here. So they also understand, okay, this isn't a guy over here, an American missionary, trying to live the rich life. Quite the contrary. We live in a common neighborhood. We've got regular cars like everybody else here. But it's the little things that they've seen and learned to appreciate. And we've been an example, and we've shown them with other examples. And so they're now starting to humble themselves and say, yes, we need help. But it's been awesome, Jimmy, because the same people that need help are the same people giving help. They'll grab my truck and we'll do 2-3 trucks of the church and load them up with big blue water tanks, load them up with water. We'll go up the mountain, load them up with water from a natural stream, come down in the neighborhoods and deliver water to
Wow,
homes.
that's great.
I mean, to hundreds of homes. And
That's
people
great.
are crying, oh, bring water here, bring water here. We'll get text message to the church's WhatsApp, and we've actually opened it to the community. We've said, if you want to add somebody from your neighborhood into the church's WhatsApp, do so. And we've had people that don't believe in Jesus, don't understand God, don't like the church. They've come to our church, or they've been helped by people from our church.
That's great.
We've had folks that have gotten 2 bags of rice. They've given 1 bag away and kept 1 for themselves. I'm going, oh man, you want to talk about the love of God in the midst of need. And it's true, Jimmy, it's truly the light of God shining in the darkest darkness
Wow.
ever.
Praise
ever.
God.
So I'm learning here. I came here to teach things, and I'm learning
Yeah.
to love like never before, and I love it.
That's
I love
great.
it.
Well, I know your time is limited because you got to get your letter written. But is there one more thing that you want people to know at least this week, and maybe we can talk to you again next week if you get some more power? Because I'd love to keep weekly updates with you for the people that watch.
Well, I can come here weekly. I can come here weekly now. The thing is, there's a water plant real close here that was just reopened, and so they're not taking that much power and the internet and all that because they need the electricity to use a few hours a day. So while that water plant is on, we've got electricity and internet and stuff here. I feel like a regular human being in this little place.
Wow. How far do you have to drive to get here to that place?
It's a good 20 miles. So it's not that bad.
But you have to
horrible.
be smart with your gasoline though, right?
Well, but the thing is, I can get gas almost each day. I just got to wait about 4 or 5 hours in that day to get in line to get gas. So we've learned to work it. We got a system now. We do lines at nighttime. There's no sun. We do 3-4 cars together that we know each other.
Well, how do the gas pumps work if the electricity's off?
Well, there's about 9 gas pumps in the whole city that have their own power plant, so they work all day long.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I was thinking that all the gas pumps were on the electric, and that's why it would take so long to wait in line, because you're just waiting for the power to come on.
Well, they all need electricity, and that's why the lines are crazy. When there's cars that'll wait 2 days in line just for the electricity to come to that gas pump, and once that gas pump, you see the lights go on, boom, start cars going. But you know what's crazy? Here's the sad part. The National Guard gets in line, stops all the cars, and car that goes by has to pay them first to then get to the gas pump, and then you've got to pay the gas pump. And usually the gas guys don't even ask for money. They say, all right, give me rice, give me beans, give me corn flour. So you actually walk around. When I go around in my car, I usually got 2 kilos, separate kilos of the cornmeal. I've got 2 kilos of rice and about 1 or 2 of pasta. I carry those 6 in me everywhere I go.
Wow.
If I need gas, if I need to buy something, so I can barter with something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's Jimmy. We've gone back in time here in Venezuela. It's incredible, and I keep telling people. I said, I mean, we're going to end up living in caves if this keeps on. I'm praying and hoping, and I'm actually believing that this is about to end, and I believe the best is yet to come.
Well, and this is the worst it's been, right? Since you've been there?
No, it's the worst I've ever seen it in my life. I have no other way to explain this except what Cuba looked like a few years back.
Well, Dan, we're going to keep you in prayer, and thanks for updating us, and we'll just stay in touch. We'll get this out ASAP.
Listen, tell people that cornmeal type thing, not cornmeal, what am I talking about?
Corn flour?
Protein drinks and powdered, it just whatever they can send, stuff like that. It's on the links that we've sent, and we continue to send it. Any financial donations to be sent to Global Faith Mission Agency under our ministry, and it'll go directly to all the things that we're buying and getting for these people here.
Okay.
It's your prayers and help are going a long way, Jimmy. So thank you so much, man.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan. Get that letter written while you got
You bet.
power.
We'll see you, man.
All right,
Bye.
see you. Bye.